What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another walk and talk. Today we're going to be talking about 4 ways that you can improve your sleep for fat loss. Fat loss is so hard when it comes down to the nitty-gritty of things. Now, it's simple, yes, a calorie deficit, but there's so many little nuances that you need to focus on, right? You need to make sure you're getting good sleep. You need to make sure you're managing your stress. You need to make sure that you're eating foods that keep you full. You need to make sure you're eating enough protein. You need to make sure you're staying active. You need to make sure you're getting enough rest. And sleep is at the top of that list, because for me personally, if I don't get enough sleep, I find that my hunger hormones are just out of whack. They're out of control. My cravings are insane, and it's just really, really hard to manage. So sleep for me is one of the most important things. So tip number 1 is going to be reset your circadian rhythm. You see what I'm doing right now? I'm walking out in the sun. So get sun. Get some sunlight, 30 minutes a day at least, and go and get some sun on your skin. What this is going to do is it's going to reset your circadian rhythm. It's going to help your body produce melatonin. And this is super important, because if your body's not producing melatonin, you got a problem, right? Then you got to find out other ways. Now, these tips are not going to work for everybody, but for the majority of people, this is going to massively benefit your fat loss efforts, right? So make sure that you're getting out in the sun every single day. It's important, and not enough people do it. So get out in the sun. Another thing too is, like, get out in the sun early in the day and then go for a walk like right around sunset. Not only is it gonna calm you down, because sunsets are just amazing, and ever since I've been walking at night during sunset, literally my anxiety and my mental health has improved so much. Walking around sunset is just amazing. So you definitely should just be doing it as a part of your mental health routine. But it's just going to reset your circadian rhythm even more, especially if you get out in the first couple hours of the sun rising, and within like an hour or 2 of the sun setting. It's really gonna help. All right. Number 2 on my list is electronics. Okay, see this phone I'm staring into right now? I'm actually just talking to you guys. I'm not talking into a phone. So this phone that I'm looking at right now is actually needs to go off, or it needs to go into night mode right before bed, right? So this is important, because not a lot of people think about this, but there's a blue light that gets emitted from your electronic devices. So from your phones, from your computers, from your TV, there's blue light, and we want to reduce that blue light, because that is actually what is our brains and our bodies don't know the difference between that and sunlight. So our bodies actually don't produce melatonin. So what you need to do is you need to either put your phones in night mode, or you need to read a book, or you need to get some blue light blocking sunglasses, or you need to install an app on your computer. There's actually an app called Flux, F.LUX, that you can install on your computer, and it automatically turns off the blue lights and turns it into like an orange light. And this will help massively with your sleep. Just help your body produce that melatonin. Okay, so that's tip number 2. And this is 2 hours before bed, guys, so don't be huddled next to your hubby, watching TV, watching Netflix right before bed. I promise you, you may be able to fall asleep, but we're talking about the quality of your sleep. You're not going to be waking up feeling rested, which is the most important part. Because you can say you got 7 to 9 hours of sleep, but if it doesn't feel like you got 7 to 9 hours of sleep, then you're not actually getting that quality REM sleep, which is what we want. Number 3 on my list is going to be, make sure that you're sleeping in a dark and cold room. Especially right now, temperatures are rising, especially in the Northwest. I mean, it's just crazy over here. But I had to get a small AC unit for my room because I couldn't get good quality sleep. My room wasn't cold. Now, especially my females who are watching this and who are listening to this, you guys are more likely to like the rooms a little warmer and hotter. And at least the majority of females that I know, they like to sleep really, really bundled up, right? Which is fine. You can have lots of blankets and pillows and whatever, but make sure the room is cold. Make sure the room is around somewhere between 69 and like 72 or something like that. Make sure that you're sleeping in a relatively cold room. It's really, really gonna help. And then make sure that your room is dark. You know, a lot of people leave their porch lights on, and so if you're directly across from somebody who has their porch lights on, then your room probably isn't as dark as it could be. So what I would suggest, and I actually need to take my own advice on this one, is get some blackout curtains, right? A lot of people use those eye masks, which are hilarious. You don't need to use those. Just get some blackout curtains. If you want to use the eye mask, obviously you can do that, but you don't need to. So get some blackout curtains, get your room really, really dark and cold. It's gonna help massively with your sleep quality. Okay, number 4, and probably the most important and overlooked, is going to be caffeine. Yes, caffeine. The most abused drug in the US, right? Caffeine and nicotine. Nicotine's a whole nother one, but I'm only gonna talk about caffeine here because I'm gonna assume that if you're trying to lose body fat, you're probably not smoking cigarettes or vaping or any of that, but it goes without saying, you probably don't wanna be consuming nicotine right before bed, because nicotine, it is kind of like a stimulant. Anyways, caffeine. This is my cross to bear, guys. I am a hardcore caffeine addict. So when I say that, I mean like before I was ever tracking my caffeine, I didn't understand it, but I mean, I was totally going off the deep end with caffeine. Like we're talking, I mean, like maybe 800 plus milligrams. Somebody was just waving at me. This is the funny part about doing walk and talks in my neighborhood is I'll usually run into people. But anyways, a lot of my friends live in this neighborhood, so it's kind of cool. So anyways, I was drinking around 800 milligrams of caffeine a day, which is 2 times the daily limit. You don't really want to be doing that, guys. It's really, really gonna mess with your heart health. It's not good for sleep quality, but it's just not good for your nervous system. It's not good for your anxiety. And at that point, guys, you're actually not getting the benefits of caffeine anymore. You're actually legitimately just kind of using caffeine as a hardcore drug, and it's just not beneficial at that point. So here's how I kind of cycled, or I should say cycled down my caffeine intake. Was I made a hard, fast rule for myself. Like, I am not going to have caffeine after 2 p.m. That's the rule that I have right now. And I'm capped out at 2 cups. Every now and then I will have a scoop of pre-workout. My pre-workout's only 150 milligrams. With 2 cups of coffee, that's like right around 400 milligrams if I'm doing the math right. So tip number 4 is track your caffeine. Understand how much caffeine you're taking in now and set a time limit on when your last dose of caffeine will be, because caffeine has a long half-life, which means that if you have a cup of coffee at 4 p.m., you're kind of screwing yourself. You may be able to fall asleep, but like I said earlier, it's not about the hours that you sleep, it's about the quality of that sleep. So make sure that you are watching your caffeine intake, and I'd say don't have any caffeine. Try to make it till after 12 o'clock, but for myself, I've found that 2 o'clock is totally fine. And then here's a little bonus tip for you guys. You can take, after you manage all of those things, that should help tremendously with your sleep quality. But after you do all those things, then I want you guys to check out some magnesium supplements, and you can also take some ashwagandha. I've found those 2 supplements to help tremendously with my sleep quality. I take a magnesium glycinate and I think around 400 milligrams of ashwagandha. So that helps me get like directly to sleep. It's not like, and I've found that I just go into a much more restful sleep and I wake up feeling more rested. So those are my tips. Remember, you still need to be in a calorie deficit, and that's important, but you definitely need to be getting high quality sleep. It's gonna help with hormones, it's gonna help with hunger and cravings, and the deeper you get into a deficit, the harder it is to get high quality sleep. All right, make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff, and I will talk to you guys in the next video. I'm gonna try and put out 3 of these a week. If you guys need a little help on your journey, you can always shoot me an email. My email address is down below in the description. Also, if you guys don't know where to start, you want to get started with your fat loss journey and you just don't know where to start, I have a free calorie calculator down in the description. You can go check that out, download it, it's totally free. And yeah, I will talk to you guys next week, and I'll be back for another episode. All right, love you guys. Bye bye.